For the past several years, I've noticed myself thinking about people like Oskar Schindler. But why him? He wasn't perfect, far from it. He liked money, he liked status, and he was part of the Nazi Party. In fact, if you had met him before World War II, you wouldn't think much of him. But yet he sacrificed all his money to save over 1,000 Jews. So why am I thinking specifically about people like him and not someone else? It's because I wondered to myself, would I be that type of person? And the older I get, the less sure I am of that. Another thing I've noticed as I've gotten older is that many of the lessons that I learned throughout life, I don't just learn them once. The same lesson from a different source and with the additional experience gives me a different viewpoint on it. For example, I just finished reading the book, Is Buddhism True? And a really good read. I would recommend it. And in it, he talks about something I had learned a while ago, to notice your feelings instead of trying to explain them. And I had a situation recently where I ended up doing this. I have a dog that I've had from the shelter for about 6 months, and I've had dogs before. She is the most challenging. She's an adolescent dog. She's a bit sassy. And I noticed that I get really angry during those moments. And I paid attention to that feeling afterwards. And what I noticed is that with that frustration, there is also an edge to it. And that edge is satisfaction. I can approach it a different way. I can approach it by being empathetic and understanding that it's just normal for an adolescent dog. In fact, I also noticed that what I exhibit feeds that feeling. If I get angry, it feeds that feeling. If I choose empathy, which I kind of have to with her because she responds better to that, then that feeds that feeling. And that made me wonder, how much of the person I become depends on which feelings I reinforce? Which brings me back to Oskar Schindler. I don't know what in him changed. Perhaps he wasn't seeing just strangers anymore, but actual people in front of you. And it's hard to not have empathy when you see the human beings in front of you. Eventually, because he gave his fortune away, he died penniless. And the people that he saved did help support him. And when asked if he regretted it, he said not only did he not regret it, but he would do it again. My grandfather, who was born in Poland during this time, also as a young man, experienced a lot of things that really stick with me. A neighbor that he grew up with and was a good friend of his mother's betrayed him. A Jewish officer in the ghetto betrayed him. Yet a gendarme let him go, saved his life. And a non-Jewish neighbor stood up for him and saved his life. So people are not what you expect when the situation calls upon you. It reminds me that people don't really fit into categories the way that we think they might end up being. Alexander Solzhenitsyn wrote, "The line through good and evil runs through every human heart." People are not just good or evil. So the more I learn about it, the less interested I am in deciding who's good or evil. We're a bit of both. And who I become matters. And what I do is the practice that leads me towards that direction. But the empathy I mentioned earlier doesn't necessarily make you a good person. Sometimes empathy can be harmful. And the moral decisions that I make, if I make the right choice in one situation, it doesn't always mean that I'm going to make the right choice in every situation. And part of what Solzhenitsyn said also had to do with the same person. The good and evil also changes throughout time. Doing one right moral thing does not define a person, including me. I'm certainly not suggesting that everyone go out there and become an activist or fight every battle. What I'm suggesting is that we shouldn't outsource our conscience. Most of us won't be put in the position that Oskar Schindler was put in. But tomorrow, I will be put in situations where I need to be more patient, more honest, more kind, maybe stand up for someone or stand up for what I believe in. And those are the exercises where character is built. We don't become better people by believing that we're good. There are plenty of people who are religious or activists, believe they're good people, and overall their behaviors speak differently. Instead, the goal is not to become a good person. The goal is to notice what type of mind you are cultivating. And hopefully, as a byproduct, you do become a better person. I hope these ideas make you think, not save you the trouble of thinking. Thanks for listening.